Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will embark on a journey through Night and Day by Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf's Night and Day, published in 1919, unfolds in Edwardian London, where the intersections of love, ambition, and societal expectations come to a head. Woolf examines the personal dilemmas of love and career while critiquing social norms, especially concerning women's independence. This early work of Woolf lacks the experimental stream-of-consciousness style of her later novels, but captures a nuanced portrayal of early 20th century English society, exploring romance and identity against a background of social reform and traditional values. Plot summary. On an October evening in London, Catherine Hilbery presides over a tea party in her family's elegant parlor, a gathering filled with prominent guests who marvel at the relics and paintings of Catherine's grandfather, the great poet Richard Alardice. She is graceful, thoughtful, and seemingly the perfect hostess, though within her quiet gaze and reserved demeanor lies a discontent unspoken. A life filled with parlor conversations, family reverence for an illustrious past, and endless discussions about her grandfather's biography weighs on her. She yearns for a sense of direction in her own life. Among the guests is Ralph Denham, a self-made lawyer with a modest background, far removed from the refined world of the Hilberys. Ralph is both intrigued and unsettled by Catherine's beauty and aloofness. Beneath her calm exterior, he senses an uncharted landscape of intelligence and ambition. The disparity in their social status initially places a wall between them, and Ralph feels both captivated and challenged by Catherine's detached manner. Leaving the Hilbery home that evening, he feels he has encountered something beyond his control, an attraction that awakens in him both frustration and fascination. Catherine's family, particularly her mother, Mrs. Hilbery, is devoted to the task of compiling Richard Alardice's biography. For years, Mrs. Hilbery has scattered about the house notes and drafts that could give shape to her father's life story, but her romanticized view of his legacy leaves the work endlessly unfinished. It falls to Catherine to organize her mother's writing and manage the biography's progress. Amid the clutter of papers and anecdotes, Catherine's patience frays, and her own dreams and ambitions are forced into the background. She questions her role and the limitations it imposes, doubting if the dutiful daughter's life is the one she truly wants. During this time, Catherine becomes engaged to William Rodney, an unremarkable yet sincere poet whose affections for her seem grounded in a romantic ideal rather than true understanding. William's passions, though genuine, lack the depth that Catherine craves. He imagines Catherine as a literary muse or an ornament for his own aspirations, unable to see beyond her composed exterior. Yet Catherine, constrained by familial duty and social expectations, finds herself unable to refuse his proposal outright. She consents to the engagement, feeling the security it offers, but already sensing the confinement it entails. Mary Datchet, a passionate suffragette and mutual friend, provides an alternative view of life and independence. Living alone and dedicated to her political work, Mary offers Catherine a vision of autonomy and purpose that sharply contrasts the constraints of her own life. Yet Mary herself faces her own longing, having secretly fallen in love with Ralph. Her unspoken affection for him and her understanding of his struggles reveal the quiet sacrifices she has made for her ideals. Ralph, meanwhile, is drawn deeper into Catherine's world, and his growing affection for her becomes both a source of anguish and inspiration. He yearns for her attention, his admiration for her intelligence and beauty sparking a desire he struggles to reconcile with his pride. He resents the world of privilege Catherine represents, yet he cannot escape the magnetism she exerts over him. As Ralph attempts to reconcile his feelings, his resentment and longing build, driving him to challenge Catherine on the superficiality of her life and her entrapment within her family's legacy. During a walk through London, Ralph confronts Catherine directly, challenging her lack of direction and questioning her engagement to William. Catherine listens, and his words strike a chord, uncovering a truth she has barely acknowledged. His voice brings to life a desire she has long stifled, and an unexpected intimacy emerges between them. Catherine feels, perhaps for the first time, understood by someone outside her world, and Ralph's frustration mirrors her own suppressed anger at her entrapment. She begins to question her engagement and the life of convention it promises. Catherine eventually confides in her mother about her doubts, breaking free from the imposed narrative that has shaped her life. Mrs. Hilbery, initially shocked, softens with understanding and even expresses regret over the family's pressure on Catherine. With her mother's blessing, Catherine breaks off her engagement to William, a decision met with William's pain and confusion. William's grief exposes Catherine's own struggle between familial duty and her nascent sense of independence, but she remains firm, knowing that her decision aligns with her true self. As Catherine moves closer to Ralph, their relationship grows increasingly charged. For both, the union represents a confrontation with their inner fears and the possibility of a future unbound by social class or obligation. Ralph's admiration for Catherine's intelligence fuels his own ambitions, while Catherine finds in Ralph a partner who shares her search for purpose. Yet they both struggle with the reality of bridging the gap between their backgrounds and their differing ambitions. Their love, although powerful, is tested by their individual needs for independence. When Catherine decides to pursue mathematics, a discipline that represents clarity and order in contrast to the vague reverence of her family's literary past, she finally asserts her own desires. Mathematics, to Catherine, offers a form of intellectual freedom that surpasses the stifling confinement of her heritage. Ralph, although unsettled by her decision, respects her determination, recognizing that her choice allows her to define herself beyond the expectations of family and society. In time, Catherine and Ralph's love evolves from romantic attraction into a more tempered, realistic bond. They understand that they can respect each other's independence while sharing a commitment to mutual growth. Catherine's departure from her engagement to William, her renouncement of her family's obsession with legacy, and her embrace of her own path liberate her to explore a life of her choosing. The two stand not as figures within their traditional social roles, but as individuals determined to shape their futures on their own terms. Catherine and Ralph remain bound by a connection rooted not just in love, but in mutual recognition and respect. Each offers the other a refuge from society's strictures and a partner in their shared desire for meaning. Though they face an uncertain future, their journey has redefined their understanding of love, independence, and personal freedom, allowing them to walk forward into a life of their own creation. That's a wrap, but the journey doesn't end. Explore more books by Virginia Woolf. You'll find the details in the description or on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Virginia Woolf's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.